here to talk today about the book I just finished reading, Old Flames and New Fortunes by Sarah Hogle. I'm going to say Hogle because I feel like Hogle would have two G's in it. But if I'm wrong, let me know in the comments. I've never read anything by this author before. She seems to be very popular. But I just happened upon this book at the library and it sounded interesting, so I picked it up. It is set in Moonville, Ohio, a fictitious town that I guess has a lot of legends or magic surrounding it. It seems to be a very small town, but it's hard to tell for a town that is described a lot in this book. I still don't have a very good sense of what it actually looks like, aside from the fact that there are a lot of trees. But in any case, the story follows Romina Tempest, the youngest of three sisters, two of whom, she and her oldest sister Luna, run a shop called The Magic Happens. Luna is a candle diviner. She creates candles and can read candle-like magic. And Romina, who is the main character, is a flora fortunist, which is someone who creates magic with flowers. So kind of marrying that old Victorian, flower language with creating bouquets to help people make their love wishes come true. Largely love wishes. I assume that there are other ways to use it, but love was the focus of this, as it is a romance. Romina and Luna, their shop is actually owned by a guy named Trevor who bought and or invested in it. It's been in their family for a long time, but there's some convoluted story about how when their parents got divorced, their mom, out of spite, sold the shop, and Trevor is this young hipsterish. I don't want to say hipster, because it's not that, but he is very kind of flighty. He's very fixated on his look, manscaping, that kind of thing, his clothes and his hair and which body washes he uses and things like that. Although he seems to be all in on this shop and, doing his best. It's been his best investment. He tends to buy up, not companies, but stores and things and restaurants or whatever, and most of them fail. The Magic Happens is the only one that hasn't, so he's kind of very fond of it. But they do need money because they bought the neighboring lot without having it properly inspected, thinking to expand, and there are all these problems. They need new sewage lines, the greenhouse on the property needs a new floor and some windows replaced, things like that. And they don't have the money to do that. So Trevor's dad, who is also an investor, they're hoping to hit him up for this money. Now, this is all just backstory. This is the first chapter or two of the book, because Trevor's dad is coming to town. They're planning to, give him their proposal to get money to fix up the adjoining lot that they've bought and, make more money, but Trevor's dad is coming into town because Trevor's dad, Daniel, is actually getting married. He's getting remarried. Trevor's mom has passed away a long time ago, but Trevor's dad is getting remarried, and he's getting remarried to a woman who happens to be the mom of Romina's high school sweetheart. So, of course, Romina has not seen this sweetheart in years. They broke up when she was 18 and now she's 29, so 11 years. And it ends up being the second chance romance kind of thing, where seeing Alex again gets Romina all hot and bothered. The thing is, Romina and Trevor have announced that they're dating, and they did this it's all so stupid. Like, it was like they ran into Trevor's cousin, and she's all like, "Oh, you go through women so fast," because she's mad that Trevor dumped her best friend Tayana, and Trevor like says, "Well, no, I'm with Romina now," you know, and Romina's like, "Sure, fine, I'll play along," but then Alex is on scene, and Alex is also told that Romina is dating Trevor. So Trevor's going to be Alex's stepbrother, and Romina is now dating. It's ridiculous. It's ridiculous in the way that stories like this can be. Here's the thing about this book for me. I started out being really charmed by the setting, and being somebody who does candle divination myself. I know how to dress and read candles. I've done tarot. I understand the language of flowers. I've never tried to do this flower fortune thing. Romina makes it a big point to explain that she's the person who developed this. Like, she's not like other witches, and that was a little bit like off-putting for me in a way, but sure, okay. Because everything that Romina describes about understanding magic, like understanding the feel of it when you know it's working right and everything, I totally understand, because I've had those experiences. So I kind of felt like her trying to make it out like she's like something special was a little bit much. Alex obviously is a skeptic. He went off to college to become a doctor, but ended up being a contractor. He left med school and decided he was happier working with his hands and, that kind of thing. But he doesn't believe in the whole magic thing. And he was like, "I thought you didn't believe in this either." And Romina's like, well, I've changed. Romina also has this other backstory about a guy that she dated after Alex, who had a baby daughter that Romina helped raise for 5 years until they broke up, and she hasn't seen this little girl ever since. She was effectively this girl's mom, and her heart's broken over that. That confused me a little bit, because Moonville's supposedly very small, so I don't see how she's never seen this guy and his daughter again. Like, I'm like, you don't run into them ever? Because, she worked in a daycare called Over the Moon, and everything in Moonville has these moon names and magic names and things. So it seems to me like this daycare is definitely in Moonville. So then I'm like, did the guy and the girl move away? And maybe that was mentioned and I just missed it. I don't know. Like, the guy gets back with his ex-wife, the little girl's actual mom, and they, cut Romina out of their little happy whatever. Anyway, so there's some complexity here. Romina and her sisters come from this complex background, and Romina's had these very complicated love experiences, and I applaud that. This is not facile, right? But I also just didn't care at all for how immature and the main characters behaved. Alex is incredibly arrogant, and some of his behaviors were just there's nothing cute or sexy or endearing about his behaviors. At one point, he even chases Romina. Romina has Trevor drive her away from something, trying to get away from Alex, and he jumps in his truck and he forces them basically to stop on the, and I'm just like, this is not sexy. This is terrible. I could not get behind his behaviors and his attitude. And Romina is not much better. She's just, again, so immature, and their bickering and their sniping was not cute. This was not, Benedict and Beatrice. This was just, it wasn't good. the side characters for me were much better, much more entertaining. And I don't know if this is going to be part of a series, or maybe it already is. Like, I don't know if we already had a book about one of the other sisters. I assume there's a point towards the end of the book where the third sister gets a little fortune out of a fortune machine. Zelda is the sister's name, and her fortune just says, "You're next." So I'm like, oh, is the next book going to be about Zelda? Zelda is the sister who moved away to become an author. She didn't want anything to do with the magic stuff, but she, at the end of this book, comes home for personal reasons. And I can only assume there's going to be a book about Zelda, and then maybe one about Luna if there isn't one already. Again, I have no idea. Luna is the oldest sister. She's got an 11-year-old daughter. She's a single mom. She's the one who does the candles and everything. So, yeah, like, for me, like, these side characters were a lot better and more entertaining. I mean, Trevor, also insanely immature, but in an endearing, charming way. And maybe it's just because he's not the focus of the book, so maybe if he had been on every page, I would have, like, ended up hating him too. But I just could not get behind the behaviors between Alex and Romina. The way they were just acting just didn't work for me. I didn't feel the chemistry. I was just frustrated. Their backstory, their meet cute, is that Romina was handing a note to a friend in class, and Alex intercepted it and got her phone number off of it. And first of all, I was like, okay, but they had cell phones, so who the hell is handing a paper note around in class when you'd be texting each other under your desk? That didn't even just make any sense at all. And then, like, Romina's like, you can't have that, you can't call that number, or whatever. And he's like, well, I'm going to. And I'm like, okay, already I don't like this kid, like it just isn't, I don't know. It just didn't work for me. It isn't my type. It's not my type. I have definite types, and this isn't it. So yeah, I don't know. I just wasn't, I gave it 3 stars on Goodreads. It's more like 2.5. I rounded it up again because, like, I still liked it better than some things I've read this year, but by the end of the book, it goes on for far too long. I was skimming the last 15 or 20% of this because it's just this long, drawn-out negotiation between Alex and Romina of how their relationship is going to work, like what they're going to do. And, like, at that point, I was like, I don't even care. I don't. So if that tells you anything, I was like, yeah, I don't care anymore. They're clearly going to be together, and they're just hammering out. It's not very interesting to watch 2 people hammer out the details, I don't. And yeah, so would I read more of this or these? I don't know. It's crazy to me to say. I think I enjoyed the last book I read more. The one with the ghostwriter and the dead romantics. I actually think I liked that more than this. This had setting, like, the setting and the magic stuff I was totally there for, the flowers and all that. But that ended up being mostly just backdrop and not as much of a presence in the story as I would have liked. And again, like I said, even after all the description of this town, at one point they're doing a scavenger hunt all around this town, and, like, I still could not get a sense. Like, I wanted a map. This book doesn't have, like, a map or anything of this town, but I almost want a map of this town so I can see where this stuff is, that they're, because they're walking or they're biking, but then sometimes they're I just couldn't get I just couldn't get a bead on it. So yeah, it was okay. I don't think I'd pick up another one of these. I'm vaguely interested in Zelda because she's a writer, and I like that. Maybe, like, the magic and the writing would be, like, the perfect blend. But if it's gonna be more of these kinds of behaviors or characters, if this is what the author thinks is cute or endearing, where I'm finding it obnoxious and toxic, then, there's just a fundamental disconnect between, like, what she writes and what I tolerate. So maybe not. I do, if you have recommendations of other like witchy, magical kind of books that I might like that are not like that, then please do send those my way. I'm reading a Magic Unbound right now, which is the third in by Freya Marska. And already, like, this book, I'm just like, yes, I'm all in on. So I'm so excited to find a book I'm excited to read again. And that has magic, and it's Edwardian, so it is, like, my sweet spot. If you know books like that, let me know. But anyway, yeah, it just, I don't know, like, it started out pretty good, and then just was, like, this steady kind of decline for me, this one. And, it's kind of a shame, but it is what it is. So in any case, let me know if you've read this or anything else by this author. Other magic-y, witchy, romance, rom-com, something funny, please. I just keep wanting something cute, and this just was not cute. And, yeah, anything like that, let me know. And until next time, take care.